Nice day. Fiero's out in the sun. I think it's about time we get a face back on this car. I wanted to start the Fiero because it had been a while since it had been driven, but it's been since last October since it started, so I believe the battery is dead. I tried jumping it, but that did not work at all. It didn't even get any power, so I was wondering if it was maybe the connections, but they're pretty tight. So I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for a battery to be kind of useless after a year of doing nothing. But I figured while we're out here, may as well finally stop procrastinating and finish getting this bumper I got on there. I got this hood also about a year ago, which at the time I figured would work, but the more I look at it, I see pretty bad damages and cracks, which in my mind, I think that I can just get it sanded and use like a fiberglass filler / repair kit and repaint it. But I don't honestly know much about fiberglass or fiberglass bodywork, so I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more. Or if any of you know anything about it, you can give me some advice. That would be super helpful. You see how bad this has gotten. The new bumper's being used as storage. So is where the Fiero resides. And here's the front bumper, which I don't know if I've actually ever showed this or not, but I got this probably like a year and a half ago. I got all of this drilled out. Some of it very, very sloppy, but this stuff isn't easy to get out cleanly with the tools that I have, which I got most of it done, but I guess I never did this side. So we're gonna try and get this side finished, and we're gonna try and get the front bumper mounted so it at least looks presentable again. And the hood's not pretty, but it'll be, you know, it'll represent its former self. The Harbor Freight cordless driller impact died as soon as I started drilling into it. So we're gonna use this weaker one I have, and we're gonna kind of, which I think I did before, but we're gonna kind of alternate between using the heat gun to get the material hot, not melted, but just hot, so it's easier to drill through it. And then we're going to use this this weaker one to try and get these holes so we can get it mounted back up onto the car. I mean, all things considered, it's working pretty well. We'll see how well it works for these much more difficult and oddly shaped holes, but it's working right now. All right, immediately, no longer working. I think the first one was a fluke, because this is not at all even puncturing through it. It's just kind of damaging a little bit. And I if you can see, it's kind of starting to melt because I was going a little bit overboard with the heat gun. But that's okay. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, so that method's not working at all, and I even tried a little knife, but I figured that wouldn't work. It was just a last-ditch effort. So I guess patience is what we're gonna have to use while I charge the battery for this one. But no lost time, because we need to get a new battery. So in the meantime, I guess let's go through the fun task of getting that out of there, which isn't too bad. If I remember, you just have to unscrew this, which is just hand tightened, obviously, because there's gonna be no other way to get this out of there if I tighten it any other way. And then obviously unhook the battery safely, optional. Got the gloves on for safety. You never know. The positive down here was actually not at all tight. So I was really hoping that if I tightened it down that it would actually just start, but it didn't. The battery is dead. But it's a good note to always check your connections. You never know. All right, got those bolts off. Set them to the side. Hopefully we don't forget them. And then we just take the plate off, and then it should be able to just come out as soon as I unhook the wires. All right, everything disconnected. Just gonna pop this heavy son of a bitch out. All right, we got it out, and now we get to make a trip to the local O'Reilly's and spend God knows how much money getting a new one. Yeah, really making sure we're putting the storage space on the new grocery getter to use, you know. All right, new battery required. Only cost, you know, way too much fucking money, but it's okay. We're gonna get her installed, and maybe the Fiero running will make the extremely overpriced battery worth it. You know, it's just not working on a Fiero if you don't have to completely climb inside either the front or back to be able to do any simple tasks, you know. All right, everything's mounted. The battery fitment, a little questionable. It's the exact same battery as the last one, but for some reason it don't fit like the last one. So but it's not moving or anything. It's mounted good enough, so you know, nothing wrong with your battery wiggling around a little bit while you're driving around, right? All right, good sign. We have lights, and we have power, and I hear the fuel pump starting. So in just a second, we'll get this thing started when it's not in the garage and won't kill me. All right, well now it's working pretty damn good now that I actually have the battery charged on the 18-volt one. So you just use these, and then if it doesn't quite go through very easy, I've just been using a heat gun to get it warmed up. And it's going through pretty easy. So we should be able to get this hood on pretty soon. And for these larger circular holes, I've just been kind of doing like multiple circles, and then kind of moving it around to fill in the hole. This isn't a very good example. This is pretty sloppy, but some of the other ones are looking a little bit better. And then I'm gonna go through with a razor blade and kind of clean out all the excess threading, or whatever you would like to call it. And then once again, same thing for like these very large square holes. I'm doing the same thing. And then I'm gonna go through, if I can't get it very clean, I'll go through with a knife and then try and see if I can cut it out after using the heat gun to kind of go over it and warm it up, and see if I can't go through the knife and just kind of cut this out, and maybe do a little bit cleaner than I did on the other side previously, where it was kind of sloppy. All right, I wouldn't recommend using a knife. Immediately it started cutting, but it slipped through, so I don't have any razors on me at the moment. But it should be fine. I'll get it cleared out, and then I'll just glue it or something. It's not too big of a deal. For now, I just kind of melted it together, kind of like tack weld to get in place until I can come up with something to do something a little more permanent, a little more clean. Like I said, it's not really a big deal if it's kind of broken or not perfectly intact. It'll still hold on, and it'll be covered up by a plastic piece it's just the turn signals here. But for now, it'll do. It's just kind of being held in place by that. And we'll clean it up. All right, before we go any further and clean these up more, and get them, well, they won't be perfect, and I am not even going to make an attempt to make them perfect. But before we go any further with them, I'm gonna get them up and try and mock it up on the car and see. And if I might use some zip ties to see how it fits, and if it'll work or not. All right, look at that. Literally just sitting on there. It's probably about to fall off any second now, but it's actually this way we can just line up our holes and everything and make sure everything is gonna line up. But right now it's looking like we're gonna be good. So might have a full Fiero again. Not sure what the best way of going about this is, but I kind of have a rig here with some jack stands under this, just so I can kind of finagle bolting these up through here. I'm starting on the sides because in my head it's going to be easier, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I've never done this before, so, and I can't really reference taking it off because unfortunately it was pretty crumpled previously. All right, side number 1 is done. We have all these bolts in here, and at first I tried going from top then to bottom, but because it made more sense in my head, but it was a lot easier to go from bottom to top. That was feasible. I couldn't even get these to line up before I had the bottom 2 in there. So this for anyone who wants to do this at home. All right, running into a little bit of a snag already. I got one side done, and now immediately, I think this is the wrong one, because there's supposed to be, actually, yeah, I think this is the wrong one. You know what? We'll make it work. I'll make it work. I'm really struggling to make this work, but I got a scissor jack, and I'm gonna See if I can jack this up enough and hold it up for me instead of propping it up with my foot like I've been doing. And then we're gonna try and screw these in as good as we can. All right, so I ended up getting it mostly mounted onto the sides. Unfortunately, we are actually missing, which I completely forgot about. There's a upper mount that goes up here that mounts to the front of the bumper to actually hold it up all the way. Otherwise, it's just gonna be flopping around and not really mounted. So, currently trying to locate one of those. I found one on eBay that's way too much money. It's like, it'd be probably like 130 bucks after shipping and everything, which is what it is, but I really don't want to spend that kind of money, but I also want to get the car ready. So I guess I'll weigh my options, but it's looking like the eBay part's gonna be the way to go. But yeah, I guess we'll see moving forward. Digging through the garage, I actually believe I found the piece that we need to get secured on the car. So we're gonna take the hood off and see if we can make this work. But we're covered. Actually, change of plans. We're gonna take this one off instead. It's a little bit smarter. Alright, now to see if this lines up. I have a sneaking suspicion this probably won't work. Otherwise, I feel like I would have had this on here to begin with. But actually, like, so I think this slides over this. Fitment is definitely slightly off, I think. Unless I'm just doing this wrong, but I don't think I am. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this with the bumper on though, which could very much be an issue. There we go. Hold on. No, that did not work. This fit on this car once upon a time. I'm not sure what's causing this not to fit now though. Which means I'm glad I didn't buy that one off of eBay. Doesn't even at all line up. I was worried about that. The condition. Unfortunately, it's a little messed up, a little too messed up to actually get this on there its current state. But I don't doubt that we can trim these and kind of make this work for how it is currently. I'm sure there's a way of doing that. Just got to figure it out. Yeah, because if you line up one of these, then everything else is out of line. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but we're gonna get to work. I'll see if I can get my dad involved, and we'll get it fabbed up. We're gonna get this bumper sitting right, so that way it looks not factory, but close as we can get it, and then we'll get this hood on too, but we're gonna clean it up first before I put it back on here. Then get it painted, cleaned up, all nice and black, and look at that, it's already starting to look like a Fiero again.